Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Nier. So, we have to go to the Forest of Myth, and like I said before, today's going to be interesting. I'm going to be talking a lot. Not something unusual for my YouTube videos, to be sure, but I will be talking a lot for a game that just likes to do different things. Alright, so back here is another location that doesn't get much use in the game, if I remember correctly. I may have visited at one short point, just like the gate, but I didn't actually end up going through it. But this is where the Forest of Myth is located. The place that we've been tasked to go and see if we can help out, because the people here are acting weird.
It sure is quiet here.
Such silence bodes ill. There's trouble on the way. I'm sure of it.
That's what I love about you, Vice. You're such an optimist.
That's cheek.
So, like was explained, this is the Forest of Myth. It's an odd place. You got trees that have been made into houses. There's a guy sitting out here, got a box with a weed in it. Good to know. We'll investigate him in just a moment. Just taking a look around. It's got fireflies or something. I don't really know what those are, but it's kind of cool. There's some weird person standing around.
Hi there.
What a jerk. Won't even talk back to me. What about you? You'll say something, right?
Hey.
Real bright and talkative, Popola. She did mention something about them being bright and talkative. This seems to be hardly anything of the sort, and then there's a massive tree over here, which is a little bit low res, but they're getting away with it by having a load of fog in the area. We'll accept it for now, and then we've got this one guy over here that looks like he's offering us a quest. So, just like before, when we like to... Wait, what is that? Spirit capsule. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Just like before, I've said this game likes to shift genres. This is going to be another really weird shift. Hope you guys are ready for it. Beware! Beware the words! Obviously, he's not a fan of reading. The words? What do you mean? Contagious words. Oh good, he's gone senile. Those who dream. Those who dream? Hold on a moment. There's a strange new sensation in my mind. It's like half of the screen is gone dark. Weiss's voice rose in a quizzical way. It is not quizzical. What's going on here? The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes. Perhaps we should start by asking this man. Who are you? I'm Nier. This is Vice. We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help. The villager stared at Nier and Vice. If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream. How's that again? The villager explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream had spread across the Forest of Myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the forest of their own dreams, or the world. The village mayor had determined that the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Weiss stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly. Now, see here, he said. Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream? Well, yes, said the mayor. I think you have. Ah, crap, said Nier. So that means we've caught the Death Dream? This bodes pretty well for... this bodes pretty well for our saving Yona thing. Before the mayor could confirm Nier's suspicion, Weiss exploded with rage. Ridiculous, preposterous, completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep. The mayor attempted to take Weiss's complaints in stride. That's just how the Death Dream works, he said, brushing aside the book's remarks. My remarks shall not be brushed aside, fool, and it would behoove you to remember that this world allows me to view all of its narration. The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who Nier had seen, and what they had discussed since coming to the village. Something there must have caused you to enter my dream, said the mayor. A certain conversation, a specific word, something. Nier and Vice racked their brains, but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations. Grimoire, Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations. The mere suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride. It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gas bag of a narrator. It has demolished it utterly. Irritated, Vice looked skyward, as if searching for answers in the heavens. I was doing no such thing, just leave me alone already. The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Nier like a contagion. Wait, said Nier suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing his startled Vice aside in the process. Well, he must have something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words. What was it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or... Oh, what was it? A sheep? Cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped in his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Nier's face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said. Those who dream. That's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Nier. That sounds right, he said. As a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground, my notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across the lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along, but I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place, instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping it off at the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment, I realized I was locked inside my own dream. I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. The mayor's voice took on a note of steely determination. And I won't stop trying until it happens. Nier nodded in agreement. Wait a sec. I didn't nod. Why are you... Look, if we can be of any help, said Nier, just ask. Now, hold on. I did not just say that. Silence, cried Vice. The grimoire looked from Nier to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now, see here, Mayor. You told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But yet, you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. "Oh my god," he said. You're right. I had no idea you were coming." "The human imagination is a limitless engine," said Weiss, "and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out." "Thank you," said the mayor. "I don't know how I can repay you. I mean, money works. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place." The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. "Good luck, you two," he called out at the departing forms of Nier and Weiss. "We're all counting on you." As Nier slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of déjà vu. I saw this man once before, he thought. But where? Nier's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Weiss was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Nier to pick up the pace, and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Weiss muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Nier snapped. "You know what, Weiss? Screw you, we're stopping. I need to rest for a few minutes before I throw up." Nier leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. "How can this stupid forest be so big?" he muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. As if infuriated by his lack of respect, every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out with a volume that rattled his teeth. Nier slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. "Weiss, what's going on?" Nier could see Weiss's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Nier's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, Nier removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. "Zuri, zuri, zuri, zuri. Shak, shak, shak. Chi, 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 chi. Wooma, wooma. Shik, 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 shik." As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Nier began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question. 1 with it suffers. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. This kind of thing happens a lot in dreams, right? Maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it suffers, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? Well, there's a couple different answers here. A little bit of thought into this reveals that it is likely a secret. The answer is probably not a woman. Well, I guess it could be. It's a little bad. Inwardly furious that Weiss left the task to him, Nier sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Right? The sound of the insect stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Nier like a rippling wave, opening a new path. "These forest arthropods are making a road for us," said Weiss with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Nier moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, Their journey had a purpose. I guess the Force has accepted us, huh? Said Nier after a bit. Weiss spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Weiss finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Nier picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Weiss. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. These words again. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Oh boy. Absurdly easy, barked Weiss. Now answer it. Nier grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Birds break glass sometimes, if they're really big. And I don't really get how letters make any sense in that at all. But sunlight makes sense. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Weiss softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey, look, cried Nier, awakening Weiss from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Weiss saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Weiss? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Nier walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, good lord, Nier, calm down, no one's home. The door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Nier. But before he could get any further, the cloaked man held out a hand and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end the night with 3, what am I? Oh, stupid cloaked man and his riddles. Nier tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Weiss, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Nier. Well, at least it's an easy one. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end the night with 3. What am I? Well, honestly, I don't understand this. If anyone gets this one, let me know. I'm gonna actually look it up later. I didn't bother to look it up yet. The answer is a man. Like, I know what the code is, I just don't know why it is. Maybe the 2 in the daytime is referring to them walking. The rest of it I'm a little bit confused on. The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Nier. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know. Now, listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. You saw, wait, you saw what? I'm sorry, I don't understand a thing you just said. It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the Death Dream. Now you must go to the man at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Nier watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Nier and Weiss returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it! You actually made it back! His left hand grasped Nier's and pumped it so fiercely, he threatened to dislodge it from the socket, while his right seized Weiss by the cover and swung him through the air. Gah! By the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Nier withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. "We broke the Death Dream seal," he said. "At least I think we did." The mayor's face beamed as Nier filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them laid down in the forest ground and fell asleep. "Wait a second. That's crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? That's a heck of a story." "Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself." Nier and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. "Have you forgotten?" continued Weiss. "It is words that control the Death Dream. Words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue." With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. "This is the first time," began the mayor, "the first time I have felt tired, since I was imprisoned here." His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Nier shook the mayor's shoulders gently. "Good news," he said. "We made it." "Oh wow," said the mayor in an odd voice. "We did. I'm back." He blinked once, twice, as though not quite believing the sight before him. "You two have no idea how much this means. The Death Dream had started to spread throughout our village, and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream." The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, and then glanced at Nier and shrugged. Without a word, the fighter reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. "Real life may take some getting used to." A wry smile crossed the mayor's lips. "You shall relearn in short order, I'm sure," said Weiss. "For now, you should return to your home and rest." "No," said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. "No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the Death Dream. I have to save them." The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. "This is a holy tree," he explained when the prayer was finished. "It's the guardian of our village's history and memories." "Superstition will only make our mission harder," muttered Weiss. "We should not put our faith in the gods." The mayor shook his head. "Not the gods, the words. Legend said that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse." Nier and Weiss could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. "I say," muttered Weiss, "this is certainly a stroke of luck." As the three of them said their goodbyes, Nier mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle, and the mysterious words he had left them with. "I once saw a version of you that was not yourself," muttered the mayor. "What in the world?" Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. "You know," he said softly, "this is going to sound weird, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before too." Nier tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. "Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's just some kind of illusion created by the Death Dream. It probably doesn't mean anything." "Oh, you silly, silly game characters thinking it doesn't mean anything." Nier gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. I wish I understood what was going on here. That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all. Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life. This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered. I know. That's why I have to help the other villagers, no matter what. So, there we go, we got Dark Execution. Watch if anyone wants to see what Dark Execution looks like. We had it a good bit ago. in the very, very beginning of the game in that tutorial section. Okay, for sealed verse, that didn't take much effort. Yes. All a touch too easy, if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village. You think too much, Vice. Anyway, back to the magic. We got to use it at the beginning of the game. It just kind of makes a big stroke of death. It's kind of cool, but it's just... I feel like it's too linear to attack anything but heavily congested crowds. Anyway, this is more or less going to be the end of the first video. That took a while, it did, but it was an interesting one, and like everything else, this is important, yada yada yada, this will mean something later, probably doesn't mean a whole lot now. But, there are 2 more quests I can get here now. The mayor referred to as more people in his village that were stuck with the death dream. These are side quests, completely optional, mind you. And I don't really want you guys to watch it if you're only interested in the main story and that was enough of a text adventure for you, then feel free to skip it. But the next video is going to be, I'm going to make a part 2 today. I'm just going to go over these 2 side quests, which is doing their death dreams. Pretty much the exact same thing we just did, only I think they're a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to have to maybe look up something, or maybe I'll just stumble my way through it, as I usually do. Anyway, this is it for today. Next time, we're going to... We might not start back from here, we might start back from the village. Well, actually, we'll probably save here. But we'll be going back to the village and doing something else. But, if you're only interested in the main story, that will be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed... Oh, wait, I was wanting to do one more thing. Let's charge this thing up nice and good now. Only in 4 directions, not quite enough magic to do it in all 6 directions yet. That'll be something for later. We do have a Forest of Myth map, not that there's much place to look around. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying. Did I ever show off Dark Phantasm? I was doing a little bit of side questy stuff earlier. That's Dark Phantasm. This kind of makes like a shadow copy of yourself and it goes and slashes things. And you can charge it up and attack multiple enemies if there's multiple enemies around. Sorry, it's completely off on a side rant. Anyway, if you wish to see more of this, tune into the next video. Bye!